Alright, WINS volunteers, welcome to a quick video about the VicNet system, how to pick your shifts and modify your shifts when you're volunteering with WINS. And this is just a quick training video to get you educated and using the system a little better. So right off the bat, we're here at the wins.ca/volunteer webpage. You can also get there by going to Get Involved Volunteers. And right away it says right here, become a WINS volunteer. You have all gone through the process of becoming a volunteer. So are you currently a volunteer? Log into your volunteer portal. So we're going to log in. Right away it's going to bounce us to this VicNet login. So I'm going to put in my email address. I'm also going to put in my password. If you don't remember what your password is, we can resend you one, but you were all given this information when you first became a volunteer. So I put in my password and my email address, and it brings me to the main page here. So as a WINS volunteer, I am part of the Community Resource Hubs by WINS in the Manchester community, and I can see the Manchester Store Volunteer Thrift Store portfolio here. That's because when I signed up as a volunteer, the staff allocated me specifically to the Manchester store. That's where I like to volunteer, and that's where I put my hours in. So you can see I have access to that there. I also have access to the volunteer handbook. Important information there. I also have some nice messages from WINS listed here, and then other VicNet instructions as I need them. Of course, then I can migrate to the mail section. So you can see, look at this, WINS Stampede Breakfast. I can sign up for one of those. Free learning session, don't miss out. And then there's a Charity Fun Fest comedy access as well. So as volunteers, you will get these update emails both through VicNet and actually to your actual email address if you're signed up for a shift, and an email comes that way. But you can see here there's different ways that we can sign up and we can become involved in these other opportunities as they happen. Now if I go to the schedule section, this is where I want to schedule myself for a shift. I've actually completed all my shifts for the month of June so far, so you're not seeing any shifts that I'm scheduled for. If we go to the service section really quickly, you'll see that I had a service date listed here, and I'm just bringing this up now because if I were to pick a shift, it kind of pops up the same way back in the schedule section. We'll get to the service here in just a minute, but I just want to show you that this is what your scheduled shifts look like when they are scheduled. So you would see that here in this section. And of course, I just clicked on the schedule again. So what I want to do is I want to not just look at my schedule here on the far right side. So again, we clicked on schedule here, and then I'm going to bring my cursor over here to your schedule. And I'm actually going to check out the month. So by clicking on month up here, it actually opens up all of the needed shifts that are currently here at WINS. So I can click here, and you know what's really fun is that it shows me all the store locations shifts that are available. And of course, I like to volunteer at the Manchester location, so I'm coming down and noticing that this was for tomorrow, Thursday, June 19th. Today's actually June 18th. That's when I filmed this video. We can see the Manchester store volunteer is needed here from 10 to 1. And if I keep going down, I can see that the Manchester 12 to 3 and 1 to 4, and it goes on. You can see that for all the different locations and what they need. And if you remember from your orientation, volunteer shifts vary depending on the store location and what the requirement is there. So it's really quite straightforward. I can just go to the Manchester. You know what? I do want to volunteer tomorrow at 10 a.m. So I'm going to click on this one here. I can actually look at the information, who's on the shift, what's happening, where is it. But if and that gave me a whole new window up here. But if I go back to this window here, this is the one I do want to do. I can schedule it, and I can put schedule me. As soon as I click schedule me, and you can see where there's 2 or more required here. Once I go schedule me, it will then pop up on my schedule. So if I go back to your schedule, it will pop up here. I didn't actually click schedule me because I really truly don't want to add that just now. I'm not actually going to go volunteer. I'm mostly doing this for training. But that's how we would do that. So it's a really simple process. If you have enjoyed volunteering, let's say on the weekend on a Saturday at the Beltline location right downtown, you're like, yeah, I do want to volunteer. We only need one more at the 9 a.m. there. You just go schedule me, you know. So again, that's by clicking on the schedule here. Initially, it's going to show your schedule, so you'll be able to see all your shifts you're scheduled for, but you can go by the month. Sorry about that. Close that, and then we can go and click on the opening we want. Now if we click on the filter, we can do it by location. So let's just say I only want to see the Manchester location where I like to volunteer. Sorry, or the McLeod. Let's just do McLeod. apply. So now we can see two openings. So yeah, McLeod is where I like to go. Oh, it looks like tomorrow I could do 9 or 5. Cool. I could go back to my filter and just kidding, it's not McLeod, it's Manchester. Okay, cool. Apply. Now I can see all the other openings that are happening as well. So this is a fun way to just filter the location that you like and do it that way. If I don't want to see by month, I can see by week. And it's a little more obvious there what's happening. So that's pretty fun. We encourage our volunteers to pick their own shifts. As a new volunteer, you will be selected a day of the week to volunteer repeatedly. And if that changes for you, I can't do Monday anymore, I'd rather do Wednesday, and I can't do every week, I'd rather do every other week, then you have the power to make those changes in your system. And this is helpful for us because every week we're trying to match volunteer hours with the schedule. Sometimes our volunteers bounce around, and we love that because you're really helping the need of the store. But at the same time, we want to accurately track your hours. So if you do bounce around quite often and you want to actually put in the hours you did, let's just say I was asked to show up for a shift and I didn't have time to sign up for it. Let's just say I'm coming in today, and we can enter those hours. So it's always going to give you the day that you came to volunteer or the days leading up to your volunteer time. But let's just say I volunteered yesterday on the 17th, June 17th, and I just stayed late for my shift, or I picked up a whole other shift without scheduling in because the manager asked me to do that, or the key holder or whoever. Then I can just enter the hours. So I did 10 a.m. to noon. It was a short shift. There it is. And it was at my Manchester location, which is where I usually go, and then I go post. So as soon as I post that, it will pop up here the same way this one did, and it'll record my hours. And then the volunteer team back at the head office can see that this was recorded and reconcile this back against your schedule. So again, if you're not picking up in the schedule, or you're staying late for a shift, or you're kind of doing something in the moment and it's happening in time, you have up to a week to reschedule yourself and to show those hours in VicNet. Again, this is helpful to us as the volunteer team because we can reconcile what happened in the store against the schedule easier. And if you remember from your volunteer orientation, we are trying to capture perfect numbers, both for our audits and our liability standards, but also just our due diligence and our integrity. We're trying to capture 100% of the hours that happen, both on the store and against the system. This helps us to be as truthful as possible and to use those numbers against our report to community and sometimes our fundraising, and just to spread the good word of, hey, 200 volunteers put in 20,000 hours this year, and we know that that number is as accurate as possible. So one more time from the beginning, you would come to the website, get involved, volunteer, or wins.ca/volunteer, log in. You would put your login information to the VicNet, your email, and your password. If you forget your password, we can send you a new one. You'll see what one you're assigned to, because this would be back to when you were doing shifts in the past, or your own preference. Again, you can check the mail, you can check your schedule, you can apply a filter, or you can look at your schedule or the monthly schedule and pick shifts. And then if you're really interested, you can backfill service hours or extended hours here in this section. And you can see overall this is really quite easy. And again, we're just an email or a phone call away to your volunteer department to help you out if you need anything. So thanks for looking at this quick video, and we hope that you are picking shifts and reactivating yourself as a volunteer. And we look forward to having you at our thrift stores and at our donation center to help our community. Take care.